what is going on, everybody? This is Beanie, and welcome back to another roster upgrade prediction video. Guys, I'm changing up the format of this series just a little bit. I know the series just started, but instead of going division by division, team by team, I'm just deciding that I'm going to make 2 videos per week, and I'm going to talk about my upgrade candidates for each league. And I'm not going to base it off teams. Some teams will have some teams won't. I just figured this will be a lot easier to do for me, and it'll probably be a little bit more accurate because I'm not trying to shoehorn certain players in for certain teams that may not really make sense as an upgrade candidate. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing the AL Central and the AL West today since I've already done the AL East. And then later on, before the roster update, we will do the National League in another video. So yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the damn video. Okay, for the White Sox, Jose Abreu has started out the season really good, and he is an older player, so they might be a little more reluctant to move him up a whole lot because he's already kind of established into what type of player he is. But so far this season, starting out, he has been on a tear. He has a 900 plus OPS. He's slashing 308, 372, 577 with 6 home runs. The dude has absolutely been killing it. So he could be a guy that if he keeps this up, he could be looking at power upgrades versus righties, maybe a contact upgrade if he can keep that average over 300. The thing that's ultimately going to limit this card's upside, though, is his fielding and stuff. So just kind of be mindful of that. He's really going to have to hit a lot in order to get an upgrade to go up to diamond or anything like that. But he is a guy to keep an eye on if he keeps killing it. One guy that I figure I might get a lot of comments about is Reynaldo Lopez. He's had a pretty decent start to the season. He started out with a 1.50 ERA, but there's a couple things that I think might end up holding this card back a little bit, and I kind of expect a little bit of regression from him going forward. The fact he only has 23 strikeouts in 24 innings pitched, and he only has 24 innings pitched, so, you know, that ERA, it could be, you know, kind of small sample size type stuff, but the big thing that I think is going to ultimately limit this card's upside, or Reynaldo Lopez's upside, is the walks. He is just walking too many guys right now. He's walked 15 players in 24 innings. That's too much. If he keeps letting guys on base at that rate, that ERA is going to go up really quickly. So I would kind of, if I had a lot of Reynaldo Lopez, I would sell right now. Even though he has that good ERA and he's a young player that's a former top prospect, I would sell. I'm not bought in on him just yet. Okay, the Indians have a couple of upgrade candidates, along with one guy, Mike Clevinger, who has started out really good, but I don't really see a ton of areas where he could get any big upgrades, and I don't know, I just want to see a little bit more from him. He's only thrown 25 innings, so let me see a little bit more from him before I kind of commit to any upgrades or anything like that for him, but he does have a 1.75 ERA to start the season, pretty good, so we'll see where he goes. But I am going to do upgrade prediction on Trevor Bauer, and a lot of people might be wondering, well, why is that? I mean, he has fewer, he has a worse ERA. He has a 2.67 ERA in only 27 innings. He's the same age as Clevinger. Like, well, Trevor Bauer has a bit better of a pedigree. Like, he came in as kind of a top prospect. He's been in the league for several years now, so I don't think too much is going to change with him. But he is striking out a lot more than Clevinger. He has 27 strikeouts in 27 innings, as opposed to Clevinger's 17 strikeouts in 25 innings. He's only walked 10 guys in 27 innings. It's not, you know, fantastic, but it's not terrible. That's not going to hold him back. He has a 1.11 whip. I don't think he's going to get an immediate upgrade, but if he can keep pitching to a sub-3 ERA this year, which I am a bit skeptical of, but if he could do that, he could be a guy that could get one of those like little hit per 9 upgrades that take him up to a gold. It's very possible, so keep an eye out on him. Another guy for the Indians that he's been doing it a little bit differently this year is Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez is not hitting great right now as far as like getting on base and stuff, but he is like had this crazy resurgence in power early on this year. He already has 7 home runs with a 289 ISO. So if SDS looks at that early on and says, man, this guy is really starting to come into his power. I know he did a good bit last year, but it's like even more so this year. And if he can maintain some approximation of this pace, he could be a guy that goes up into the high 60s or maybe even the low 70s in the power department. And him being a switch hitter that has great contact skills, that can make him an extremely valuable card. He's already very expensive at $52,000, so this really isn't like a stub making opportunity, but it is a guy that could go up a little bit as the season goes on if he can maintain this pace. And he's a guy that I would, if he can get that power into the low 70s, this is a great candidate to put on your team, especially if you put him as like a bench player or something. He could be the most valuable utility man in the game. Okay, the Detroit Tigers, they don't have anybody that is really playing well enough for me to think about giving them an upgrade prediction or anything like that, but they do have a few guys that are long-term candidates to maybe get bumped up to a silver, possibly even a gold, if they can keep playing great, just simply because of their pedigree and how they're playing so far early on. One of those guys is, where is he? Here he is, Joe Jimenez, or Joe Jimenez. This guy, a lot of you may be kind of questioning this, like, okay, I never remember seeing him on any top 100 prospect lists, but for anybody that is really, really into prospects, for the past couple of years, there has been a huge debate in the prospect community about who is the best relief prospect in baseball. And it's basically come down to Joe Jimenez and AJ Minter. Both extremely good, both extremely dominant, and both are finally in the league doing big, big things. Joe Jimenez is killing it so far. He has not given up a run. He has a .00 ERA in 9.2 innings pitched. He has a .93 whip. I think he only has 8 strikeouts, so he's not striking out as many people as I would like to see, but he is one of those guys that just has that like top relief prospect pedigree that could turn out to be just one of those dominant arms in the bullpen. So he is a guy that I would look at. I would monitor him all season. He is extremely cheap and extremely low, like on the overall scale right now, so he has a long way to go before he gets to anything where people are going to become interested in him, but he has that pedigree. If he continues to dominate, he could shoot up extremely fast. Another guy is Jacoby Jones. Jacoby Jones, a lot of you might not know this, but I actually played against and with Jacoby Jones in high school. He played at a high school called Richton, and he pitched against us one game, and he threw a 2-hitter, and I had both hits. So ain't that some shit? I was the only guy that could get a hit off of him that day. But anyways, yeah, Jacoby Jones, the center fielder for the Detroit Tigers, he is playing fairly well right now. He's hitting .293, .362, .512. He's a former top prospect. He's a guy that if he keeps it up, he could be a fast riser. Once again, kind of like the Jimenez, he is definitely a long-term buy. You're not going to get any immediate returns off this guy, but if you're looking for one of those high upside, low risk buys, Jacoby Jones could be the guy that you're looking for. The Royals have a couple of guys to monitor, but nobody that I'm really going to give a prediction for an upgrade this week. Mike Moustakas is playing really well out of the gate, but I'm not predicting anything for him just yet. Jorge Soler is playing very good out of the gate. He's slashing .288, .415, .423. I would like to see a little bit more power from him. He's not really shown that this year thus far, but you know, he has that pedigree. He's always been a guy that's been on the fringe of turning it up, but he just never has been able to. So I don't know, maybe this is the year that he can do that, but nobody on the Royals is really intriguing me right now as an upgrade candidate. So we're just going to go ahead and move on to the Twins, who actually have a couple of guys that could be looking for some juicy upgrades. The first that I'm going to talk about is Brian Dozier. Brian Dozier has 4 home runs already this season. He's showing the power that he's always kind of shown the past few years, but the big difference difference this year is that he's showing really, really good on-base skills and good contact. He's hitting 307, 373, 520 so far this season, and if that can keep up, if he can keep hitting righties to, like a 290, 300 tune, he could be getting a contact upgrade versus righties that would probably take him from a gold to diamond. I'm not predicting that he goes up this week, but once again, kind of a long-term guy, not a long-term, more of a medium-term guy, that if he can keep this up, keep that average pretty high, still, keep hitting for power, playing good defense and everything, he could be a guy that goes up into that diamond range. And to be honest, he deserves it. Once again, this guy is kind of a friend of mine, Brian Dozier. He played at Southern Miss while I was a student at Southern Miss, and we went to the bars several times. I've drank with him several times. And, yeah, Brian Dozier, he's a great guy. He deserves a diamond. He's been fantastic for the past 4 years, really, for the Twins, and I think that he is a guy that deserves to be a diamond in this game. So I'm hoping that he gets it sooner rather than later. But the Twins also have my hot pick of the week, my pick for a guy to go up some extent. This guy, Jose Berrios, has been so dominant to start the year. Just listen to these numbers to start the year. He's been so good. A 1.63 ERA, a 0.58 whip in 27.2 innings. He has 29 strikeouts and 1 walk. 1 walk. Are you hearing me, guys? 1 walk in 27.2 innings. He has shown elite command. And if that command keeps up with his stuff, which is very, very good stuff, this guy could be a diamond candidate by the end of the year. Once again, he's a former top prospect, very high pedigree. A lot of people have kind of said that this is coming for a while now. He's very young, so he may still have a few things to figure out, but he has been lightning this season. He has been dominant, and I think that he, along with like a couple other guys, are probably my favorite pitching candidates to go diamond this year, just because I believe in his pedigree, and I think that what he has done so far this year is for real. I don't think it's fake. I maybe see a little bit of regression, but not a lot. I think that this guy is going to be a dominant arm for a long, long time. And, yeah, I'm buying Jose Berrios 100%. Okay, next up is everybody's favorite upgrade candidate, Shohei Ohtani. Shohei has been very solid to start the season, especially at the plate, which is kind of surprising. He's been really, really fucking good at the plate. He hasn't had a ton of at-bats, but he's hitting 333, 378, 619 with 3 home runs. Really hot out of the gate. He's destroying the ball. So lots of good things to like about him at the plate. He could be getting contact upgrades, power upgrades very, very soon. He could also be getting some speed upgrades because I wasn't aware of this until just recently, but I was made aware of the fact that he's like one of the fastest players in the game. He was clocked at like 28.5 feet per second for his top foot speed. That is insane. That is like 85 speed type stuff. I don't know if SDS will give him that, but I'm just saying he kind of deserves it. So he could be looking at upgrades in those realms. And pitching wise, he's just been okay. He's pitching to a 3.60 ERA in 15 innings. He's striking out a good number of people. So he could get a pitching upgrade. I'm not 100% sold that it's going to come very early. I still think SDS might need to see a little bit more, but obviously he's a guy that could go up very quickly just from his pedigree alone. Next up is my hitting version of Jose Berrios, Matt Chapman. For a lot of you don't know this, but I'm a huge prospect hound, and Matt Chapman has been my favorite prospect in baseball for what seems like years now. I've always loved him. He always had Arenado, like elite level defense, like some of the best defense that you'll ever see at third base. Kind of reminds me a lot of like a young Adrian Beltre or something like that. He has been phenomenal defensively at third base. and he's also just a sabermetric guy's dream. He does play good defense, so sabermetric guys, they love that. But what he does, he just gets on base at a huge clip. Right now, he is slashing 282, 384, 553. And, you know, he gets on base at a really, really high clip, and he hits for a ton of power. He already has 5 home runs on the year. That number is going to stay very consistent throughout the year. I see this guy as like a 280, 30 home run guy year in and year out that plays elite defense. I see him as a 5 to 6 WAR player every single year. I think that this guy is going to be the next to join that group of Chris Bryant, Josh Donaldson, Nolan Arenado, Manny Machado, of elite third baseman in the game. I think that Matt Chapman is right on the cusp of joining those guys within that group. And, yeah, I see this guy shooting up over the course of the year. If I'm you, I am buying hardcore into Matt Chapman. One of my favorite prospects that I've ever like really seen or anything like that. I'm buying hardcore into Matt Chapman, and it's pretty expensive right now, and he is kind of a longer term guy because he's only a 73 overall, but still, I'm freaking buying. I love this guy. Another guy to keep an eye on for the A's is Jed Lowry. He's been killing it so far this year. I'm reluctant to say he's going to get an upgrade because I think SDS, with these older players, SDS is a little more reluctant to move them because we have such a long track record of kind of knowing who these guys are. But there's no denying that he's come out of the gate extremely hot. He's slashing 357, 411, 612 with 6 home runs. He's killing the ball. If he keeps it up, there'll be no choice but to upgrade him a good bit. So just keep an eye on him. But I'm not predicting anything with him. But one guy I am predicting something with is obviously Sean Manaea. Sean Manaea, the guy threw a no-hitter very recently. He's pitching to a 123.60 whip in 36 innings. He has 30 strikeouts, 6 walks. He's been very efficient pitching. And once again, former top prospect, high pedigree type of guy. Good stuff. And a pretty obvious upgrade candidate. You can see by his price, people are kind of buying in on him getting upgrades very soon. And I'm one of them. I think that he is obviously a guy that could go up very, very soon. So keep your eye out for Sean Manaea. The Mariners just have one guy that I'm looking at, and obviously everybody else is looking at him too, given his price is 1,200 stubs, but that is Mitch Haniger, and for good reason. Mitch Haniger is murdering the ball to start the season. He's slashing 338, 407, 743 with 8 home runs already on the season. Absolutely murdering the ball. He's not young, but he's not old. He's only 27 years old, only a couple years in the league. So he has, you know, he had, in everybody's eyes, he has some, like, untapped talent maybe that he could tap into this year. And if he does, he could be a big-time candidate to get big upgrades over the course of the season. If he keeps this up, he's obviously going to be a gold guy. Eventually, maybe even a dime. I don't think he'll be a diamond guy, but if he keeps hitting like this, who freaking knows? Because he's destroying the ball. But as far as the Mariners go, he's really the only guy that I'm kind of looking at. But then we move on to the freaking Astros. The Rangers, just FYI, the Rangers don't really have anybody that I'm looking at to get upgraded anytime soon. Not playing really well, any of their guys individually. So we're going to leave them off. But the freaking Astros, holy crap. First, before we get into the pitching, which has been incredible, let's start out with Josh Reddick. Josh Reddick is only hitting 246 right now, but he's getting on base at a 364 clip, and he's slugging 538 with 6 home runs. He's obviously in the game. He's not really that much of a power guy with only 53-35 power, but he's very, very close to being a gold because of his defense and his contact ability versus righties, along with his vision. So with that good defense and with that good contact, all he needs is a very, very slight power boost versus righties and lefties to go gold, and right now he's hitting for a good amount of power. He's an older guy, so they might be a little more reluctant to move him, but all he needs is a few points in the power department, and he will be a gold right fielder. So definitely a guy to keep your eye on. You can get him for 710 stubs right now, and if he goes up, he could be one of those guys that could make you a lot of stubs. And now moving on, though. Holy cow, the pitching for the Houston Astros has been fucking unbelievable. Okay, let's start out with the guy that I think is the least likely to get upgraded, but he's probably pitching the best out of everybody right now, and that is Charlie Morton. Charlie Morton only has 25 innings pitched, but he has a .72 ERA with a .85 whip. He struck out 33 batters in those 25 innings and only walked 6. So he has just been flat out dominant. There's no other way to look at it. Dude has been dominant in every facet of the game, but he's 34 years old. I don't really know if he can keep this up over the course of a full season. Pretty skeptical of that, but he is a 76 overall, so he only needs 4 points to get to a gold. He could get there with some hit per 9 gains, some K per 9 gains, some walk per 9 gains. And if he can keep pitching to some approximation of this, he'll get it, but I'm a little skeptical that he will do that. So I think he's a guy to monitor, not necessarily a guy to buy in on right now. But the other two guys I do think are guys to buy in on. First off, let's start with Justin Verlander. Maybe the most intriguing diamond candidate out of anybody this year. He has been flat out 100% dominant to start the year. He has a 1.10 ERA, .77 whip, 32.2 innings pitched, 39 strikeouts, and only 8 walks. He is going to go diamond. If he keeps, as long as he doesn't fall flat on his face in his next couple of starts, he is going to go diamond before the end of May, I would say. Maybe even a good deal earlier than that. He's a guy that, I mean, he's a former Cy Young winner, best pitcher in the league. Huge pedigree, SDS. I'm sure that they're just itching to get him back to a diamond. I think he finished last year as a diamond, so it's not going to take a lot for him to get back there. And the way he started out this season, I don't really think that there's any way that they keep him from being a diamond. In fact, I think he could be a diamond with this next update. I think he could go diamond immediately. The only problem is that he's extremely expensive right now for a gold, and buying in on him doesn't make a ton of sense unless you think he's going to get a big enough upgrade that he's going to start going for like 20,000 stubs, which I'm pretty skeptical of. So gotta, you know, I think he's going to get upgraded, but he might not be the best investment opportunity. And then finally, we have Garrett Cole. And Garrett Cole has been another one of those guys that has just been insanely dominant for the Astros. My God, the Astros are they look unbeatable right now with the pitching, the hitting, everything. If Jose Altuve starts hitting for some power, my God, look out. And George Springer kind of steps up because he's not playing all that great right now either. But Garrett Cole so far, 1.29 ERA, a .77 whip, 35 innings pitched. He has 49 strikeouts, so I think it's pretty obvious to say that 66 K per 9 is going to go up pretty damn fast. Also, the hit per 9 is probably going to go up too with that .77 whip. And he's only walked 8 batters, so, you know, maybe even that walk per 9 could go up a tad bit. Obviously, Garrett Cole has been a frustrating pitcher his entire career. He, you know, he's always felt like a guy that was leaving so much potential out there on the field, and he could never put it all together. And when he did, it always seemed like he got hurt or something. But this seems like the year that he's putting it all together. All he needed was to get in another uniform, another team that was a little more analytics focused to kind of get his mind right. And he's dominating. And probably the best move he could have ever made in his career. I think that Garrett Cole is here to stay. A long-term diamond candidate, I think. Yeah, he's going to be dominant. But guys, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you want more videos like this in the future. and I'll start doing this, but I have to have support on this series. You guys have to hit the like button. You guys have to watch whenever I come out with these videos, because it is a little more labor intensive than a lot of my other videos are. So if I don't get like really good support on it, I'm gonna have to do something else. So yeah, just hit the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. I'd really appreciate that. And yeah, I will see you guys later, but until then, peace.